Development Committee. This is our inaugural meeting on November 20th, 2019. And it's not on the list, but would everybody like to start by standing and pledging allegiance to the flag?
Please.
Let's do that. Do you want to do this?
Yeah, you should do it.
Okay. All right. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our first item on the agenda is to adopt Robert's rules. And don't really have a way to make it because we don't have Robert's rules.
You're not using them right
We're
now.
not, right, exactly. So let's do this in the affirmative. So those in favor of adopting Robert's Rules of Order as the way of governing these meetings, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, good. It's a little bit more smoother. Awesome. Okay, the next item on the agenda is to elect a chair for this board. I will entertain nominations.
I nominate Robert.
I second that.
Thank you. Any other nominations? I see none. All right, those in favor of, any discussion? No? All right, those in favor of electing me to be the chair for this meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? See none. Abstentions? No? All right, the next on the list is to elect a recorder. I'll take nominations from the floor to do that.
I would elect Jessica.
Second.
Any other nominations?
Nominate.
Oh, sorry, nominate,
Nominate.
thank you. I would nominate Jessica.
Okay, I have a second. Any other nominations? Discussion? Okay, those in favor of Jessica being the recorder for these meetings, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, Jessica is officially our recorder. You got this?
Yeah.
All right. All right, good deal. Moving right along.
You should get a vice chair in case you can't be here.
Yeah, it's probably a good call.
Not mean to interrupt you, but
I'm gonna. What does everyone think about that?
I think it's probably a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea to have somebody have a backup.
I have 2 kids and I'm over volunteered everywhere, so that's all right, I'll take nominations from the floor for a vice chair.
You can nominate Lisa.
I second.
She's willing.
Any other nominations? See none. All in favor of Lisa as being the vice chair, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
As long as she's willing.
Of course I'm willing.
Keep me honest too.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
All right. If possible, I'd like to amend our agenda to have a discussion literally about what we were just talking about just a moment ago in regards to events. And that was one thing that this committee really didn't do when we've just a spoiler alert, anybody watching out there, we met unofficially as a body and we had an outstanding discussion. It was 3 hours and roughly or so, and we talked about a lot of the good things that we have going on here. We got a lot of good things in this town, and we want to capitalize on that. And we want to make this town the best we can be, and we want to help our elected officials and other government bodies the best way that we can. So in that, we did not really discuss events, really, I don't think. So I make a motion that we have a discussion about potential events or how we can promote events, just really a discussion on that. Anybody willing to
I'll
say?
second it.
All right. In favor of amending the agenda to add this discussion item?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, good. So let's go ahead and do that now. Who wants to talk about, maybe having a Christmas parade? I think that's, and I guess we should try to be inclusive about that as well and really call it a holiday parade. I'm don't want to step on toes anywhere for sure. So let's talk about that. What weekend or day of the week should we look into doing that? What does that look like? Does it go through the historic district? Does it go all the way down Nolensville Road? What is that? Go ahead, Jessica.
So traditionally, when I was growing up, we had a summertime parade here, and it would start near the library and go down Oldham to Dortch, and then it would go back onto Stonebrook, and then go down Nolensville Road to where it would end up the church, the Methodist church, where there'd be like a lawn festival type thing. So that could be a potential route because people would stand on the side of the road and you have a little bit of room, and so that could be a potential route for that. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think a Christmas parade is a good idea. I know when I talked to Suzanne, who's one of the chairs of that committee, it was just they didn't have the people necessary to do it and not always the resources. So I think maybe one of our jobs could be promoting the town events committee and really trying to boost that up and get more involvement with that. Let people know that it's there and that they can help with that.
Yeah, so in addition to that, I think the plans that are currently up for this year, we might want to look at how we can enhance those. I don't know if we can pull off a parade this year, but I do think that we should plan to do that next year. Because if they've got, so I wrote down, we've got the Christmas tree lighting on December 1st at 5 o'clock, and at 2 o'clock there are things happening at the library and at the fire hall up to the Christmas tree lighting. How can we pull in our small businesses into that? So maybe we want to talk about that, and maybe there's a way for the small businesses to get highlighted in a Christmas parade next year. So that they have some sort of participation in that. And then, because you think about it, we've got the high school with, different teams that could participate. We've got the middle schools and elementary schools that could participate. We have Legacy Dance Studio. We have, trying to think what other sporting teams outside of the schools are here. But there's probably a lot of different folks that would be willing to do that. And even the churches could maybe each do a float or something of that nature and be in the parade. So might be a really, fun way to add to what we've already got started for this year, for next year.
Anybody?
It's a big undertaking, I know.
It is for sure. Anybody know roughly what the cost is for the Veterans Day Parade?
I can ask Suzanne.
Okay. Just curious about that, because I know anytime you start talking about doing things, people will say, well, how are you going to pay for that?
Yeah, right.
So, and I don't know if I'm familiar with people doing sponsorships for a parade, or if that's even a possibility. Maybe there's something where if you want to be the very first float in the parade or something like that, you can pay a little extra or something like that, or you can have it highlighted on the town's website. Because if we get promoted as a town event, and they want to sponsor and pay money, then I'm absolutely good with putting their business logo on.
So are we, we just add clarification wise, are we trying to put on the parade, or are we going to try and coordinate with the town events committee and encourage them to put on the parade?
Yeah, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, would be that we would want to coordinate with the town events committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the parade's a good idea. I agree with Lisa. I would make a motion to table the parade discussion until we've met with the town events committee and make that a priority for next year, because timing to get it done, publicity, not to mention coordinating between town events committee, which doesn't sound like there's full buy-in there, as well as public works and police. I think that's probably too much of a lift to do in this short time frame. But I think it's a great discussion to have for next year, and then focus on the merry and bright tree lighting day and how we can support those efforts.
Yeah, there's probably some quick win things we can do, and I don't know enough about what they're doing for the Small Business Saturday and the photo stops. To me, that's, I think, an opportunity for us to do something quick, like even a hot chocolate stand or something to get people to stop and maybe have a picture taken. Maybe someone dresses up like a reindeer, something fun for kids to get involved where they want to stop, and we could have different stops outside of businesses. So we're driving people to come into the business, like maybe Shabby Lane has something in their spot, and we can help with asking them what they might be able to do, and then we can help promote that. I think that would be really easy to do, and I think we could do that in, what do we have, a week, 2 weeks? We don't have much time. 10 days. So,
Yeah.
but they may already be doing something on that
Yeah.
day to get people. I know they usually do things because they want to get people in the shop. So if we could just help promote that and spread the word.
I know a lot of them are doing a Small Business Saturday, but I don't know anything about Sunday. I feel like most of them are usually closed on Sundays, I think. Or some of them, or is that Monday?
They won't be the weekend after Thanksgiving, because I remember last year I went out and shopped on Saturday and Sunday, and most of them were open the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, most will be open.
Yeah.
And if we talk to them about this event's going to drive business, I'm sure they would
Yeah.
stay open.
So did someone down here have one?
Well, I was just gonna say, it sounds like they needed some help from what Wendy was saying in terms of communicating to the businesses. So I'm wondering if, and I know one of like the arms or subcommittees is sort of that marketing and branding, and I feel like that we could probably spearhead or work with the events committee or whoever's like the powers that be that are putting it on, and help create some materials, e-blast, whatever. And then I would imagine, Jessica, with your connections through your business director, you probably have good relationships with the majority of the businesses we're talking about. And I feel like we could get this materials out to them in the next couple of days where they know like, hey, this is going on. And you know, if you want to open early or offer something, and maybe it's promoting it on your website, and then obviously making sure we're promoting it on social media and everything like that. But it seems to me that the marketing subcommittee of this could really take some time quickly and really run with sort of how to promote it if that's really what they need the most.
I agree with that.
What if, I make a recommendation that we appoint a person from the marketing committee as a liaison from our committee to the events committee that's dealing with this, and say, okay, we found out about this, we'd like to support you any way we can. What do you have in words and how we can support it, whether it's marketing or whether it's literally each of us taking 4 businesses and going to town and saying, hey, we want to make sure you know about it. Here's a flyer. Will you host a hot chocolate stand? Will you let people come and take pictures with an elf in front of your store? Whatever that looks like, but kind of have a point person to start that discussion as liaison from here, and then let the rest of us know, and we can formulate a plan as a committee of how we can support those efforts.
Sure, I like that, absolutely. I don't know if we need to do a formal vote on that or anything like that, but I would say that after we form task forces that we've kind of agreed upon, definitely those internal groups can certainly appoint wherever they want to.
To go out of that,
Sure.
yeah, okay.
Any other discussion on events? I think we're gonna not worry about trying to do a parade this year for sure. But that's definitely an opportunity, I think. I know it's 10 days away, that's a little tight, but anything we can do to help promote.
Yeah, the only other thing I would say, Jessica, is if we get good marketing and the town events committee already has that put together, I'd like to see if we don't have already a connection at the Williamson County's, I think it's Williamson Source, that's on social media where they post all the stuff about, you know, Brentwood, Franklin, all the other towns. I'd like to see if they will post this as well so that we can maybe draw some traffic.
Yeah.
And those other towns, because I happen to know their events are the following 2 weekends, so we will not be trampling on theirs, which is nice. So maybe we can get some folks out here.
So, yeah, and I can send out, if I need to, I can make a flyer for the Christmas event. I don't know if anybody's done that, but I can do that and work on emailing, like sending out a press release if we need to, coordinate with Wendy or whoever's running it. And then I also know the people from Visit Franklin, and they post like the major events that cities have, so I can email them too.
Okay.
Excellent, okay. Well, that was a good discussion. If everyone's good, we'll move along. No other discussion? Okay, good. Next thing we have is to establish our task forces. We agreed upon these at our meeting. Well, I say we agreed upon them. Everybody kind of volunteered to their own specific desires, I guess. And so, I'll make a motion that we pass a resolution to create these task forces. And if I can get a second, I'll discuss what that is. Okay. So there's several different task forces. The first one is the Historic District Master Plan, and that is where we want to look into making the historic district the best that it possibly can be. It is a gem in our town, and we should try to drive economic growth there as best as we can. It's what helps give our town a small town feel, as it were. The next one is ordinance and regulatory, which is where we want to look at ways of trying to make it easier for businesses and entrepreneurs to unleash the potential from an economic standpoint here in our town. The next is land use and zoning. We also have a business diversity, and when I say that, I mean we're looking into how we can bring in different businesses in the town to meet needs and to keep dollars here in our community and keep them from going to Franklin and Brentwood and Smyrna and other surrounding areas. The next one that we have is branding and tourism. I think that's going to be an excellent group, even though I'm not on it. Really giving our town a good brand that we can show and give to businesses and show that, hey, this is a great place to come. You should definitely do that. And they'll be working tight with the business diversity group. And the last is our mural group. And I don't know if you followed the news recently, but we've had a lot of municipalities in the area. I know Brentwood's unveiled one, and Franklin says they've got one coming soon. They kind of stole a little bit of our thunder. I thought that was a really good idea that we had. And they're going to have their own murals, well, we should have one too. There's no reason why not. And that's going to be a lot of work, and I have to contract with an artist and stuff like that. So with that is the explanation of what we're going to vote on. I will entertain.
Hold on just one second. I think we left. Did you say land use and zoning as well?
I did, yes.
Okay, sorry, I missed that
And
one.
I actually apologize. That's my explanation. Is there any discussion on any of these groups? Because I have a second already. I see none. So let's vote. All in favor of creating these individual task forces with the specific names as we have outlined, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? Okay. That's kind of our agenda, but I'll open it up for any other kind of discussion that anybody would like to discuss. Jessica, I got a question for you. The calendar that you have, what platforms do you have that on currently?
I use it on my Squarespace site right now, and then I have a Facebook page that I promote it on as well.
Okay. Any thoughts on moving that to other platforms like Instagram and stuff like that? Or?
I've been running it as a volunteer for 5 years, so it's mostly when I have time to do it. Like I said, I'm kind of wanting to move towards a more overall, like Knowlesville living is what I'm going to call it, and do kind of, like have it as a news source, do like more interest pieces, and then also kind of focus on that directory side as well, kind of like an overall, here's Knowlesville, here's what we're all about kind of a thing. And that's just something I've got to work on and, see if people would want to help me with that, either time-wise, monetary-wise, anything like that. So that's, and then I would definitely be open to expanding that. It's just the time right now, so.
Sure. We're going to get some young folks to make some TikTok videos.
Maybe we should put that into the branding and tourism team.
That's what I was
There's that
thinking.
famous dentist, he's a famous TikToker, there's a dentist in Knowlesville who has like hundreds of thousands of followers.
No kidding. McNeely. Gotcha. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I think that we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.
Well, you're promoting